Yeah. That's how you...
Snap the fingers.
Oh, yeah. The idiots...
I brought pure vodka this time.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, not a sponsor.
And I got coffee in here. I'm just kidding. It's whiskey. Again.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Mallory was real worried about what you were drinking.
She was.
It did look like I want to make a sweet Game of Thrones reference.
Are you?
I was gonna try. I guess like not the dragon fire, but I don't know. They had like the green fire that.
Right.
Okay, it just looked like urine. That's what you were drinking. It looked like the ooze that the Ninja Turtles played in.
I was drinking dragon urine and the ooze from The Secret of the Ooze.
The Secret of the Ooze.
I had it mixed together with a little Heaven Hill. It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's the perfect concoction. Anyways, we're back. Podcast number 2. And we're going to bring an insurmountable amount of savagery your way this week.
Bring in the heat.
You've got Nate, you've got me, and our combined
Idiot and Savant.
Yeah, there you go. Our combined IQ of about 50. So enjoy that.
Yeah, well, I did some research, so I think I bumped it up a couple points.
Oh, yeah? 52?
I think eventually we'll get to like an average IQ after we do these enough.
Mm-hmm. That's the goal. It's for us to get smarter.
That is the goal. And I imagine our listeners are just dying to hear more. So
yeah. Speaking of which, I watched podcast number 1. I went back and listened to it, and I cringe at the sound of my own voice. Like, I hate how my voice sounds. I always have. But to listen to myself in, like, full conversations, I'm like, is that how I talk? And is that how I sound? I freaking hate it.
So we're testing out, for this podcast, a new voice for Bernie. He's just going to dub himself with, like, a British accent.
Yes.
Just have somebody, have like a British friend of yours read, like terrible lip reading or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be much better than what I'm bringing to the table right now.
I'm the same way though. Like you hear yourself back and you're just like, not only do you have to watch yourself, so that's already like, you have like this ego and you're like, oh, I gotta watch and listen to myself. I did it just so I could get better. Last time I was laying on the bed like a slob. This time like a porn star or something. So this time I was sitting at a desk.
You're taking a creative risk, I thought. I was like, oh, that's how he thinks really well. He has to lay down and think,
man. So this time I'm sitting at a desk. I wanted to have the bookshelf that I have over there.
Yeah.
Right. Just literally move it right behind me so it looks like I read.
Right.
But it literally just has comic books
on
it.
When it comes down to it, I hate the sound and the cadence that I talk in as well. And I'm just like, this is terrible. Why did anybody listen to that last podcast? I don't know.
I think like our family and a couple extra friends listen to it, so
I will compliment you though. You did well.
Yeah, you did well. Are we going to do this for the next 10 or 20 minutes? Just compliment each other?
No, I wasn't fishing. I was literally being genuine. I was being genuine.
This is the part of the podcast where we just literally compliment each other for about 5 minutes. Everybody has to suffer through it.
I do a little reach around. I'm like, hey, Nate.
Yeah. And then I reached around. You're reached around.
Yeah.
It's like a human centipede. I don't know how it's happening. Nobody knows. It just happens.
It happens. And also, I wanted to say before we got too deep into it, I just wanted to say that I am okay. I survived the hurricane. Or hurricane, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Hurricane.
A hurricane.
Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah.
It's I mean, it's still causing some unprecedented, catastrophic damage right now. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
You know people in Houston, probably.
Not personally. I have acquaintances down there, but my thoughts and prayers go out to those guys for sure. I actually donated today to the Red Cross.
Nice.
Just trying to do my part.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do my part.
Well, if you wanted to do your part, you'd go down there and help them.
You know what?
Just kidding. Just calling you out.
You convicted me right there. I'm convicted. Tomorrow I'm gonna call in. Like, you know what? I gotta help Houston from the hurricane.
Hey, real talk though. We know a couple people on Facebook, a couple friends of ours that have family there, and hopefully they're doing all right. And it's crazy to think, because I was watching on the news and they say like a lot of people don't have home insurance, so you literally lost everything.
Yeah.
And most people, they say most, but I don't know, but they say most people don't have homeowners insurance, and or flood insurance. Maybe they have homeowners insurance, but like I know here, because we live on the river, there's certain places where you're required to have flood insurance because you're in a flood zone. So if you want to buy that house, you have to have flood insurance. But I don't know how Houston is. Maybe obviously nobody expected this. So it was a huge surprise. So
right.
But yeah, so hopefully everybody's doing okay, and I hopefully, if you have the means and you can donate or help. I see a lot of people literally just getting on their boats and helping save people, so that's awesome.
Yeah, that's one thing I have been seeing. People have been overwhelmingly helpful to each other. It's been nice, I don't know. It's just weird because I don't know. It hits kind of close to home. I live here in Texas, so. And I did receive a lot of text and people calling me, checking in on me, like, because the news kind of blows it out of proportion sometimes. Or like, it makes it seem like everybody in Texas is in trouble. So I got a lot of, "Are you okay, dude? Are you all right? Are y'all getting flooded out?" And I'm just like, "Not really, man. We just got a little bit of rain. We're safe up here, but it was really nice at the same time." I'm like,
yeah, Texas is large.
Yeah.
So you don't realize that until you. I mean, it hit Houston. It's now moving like northeast, so it'll probably hit Louisiana, but not as bad as it hit Houston, I would assume. I'm not a weatherman, but yeah. So, and then Dallas is just northwest of like where the reach was.
Right. Were you worried about me?
No.
You
I
jerk.
assume.
You jerk.
I just did a basic radar look. Here's what I did for you.
Okay.
I looked at the radar.
Okay.
And I saw that it didn't hit Dallas. And I was like, well, Bernie didn't say he was going to Houston, so I assume he's okay.
All right. So you just thought it out. You didn't bother to check or anything. That's cool. I got you.
No big deal.
One of those arms could have reached out and lashed us, and you just like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, all is well. I mean, just like I said, thoughts and prayers go out, and a little bit of money. I won't act like I gave a lot or anything, but.
So what do you think? Like $100,000 or less than that?
a little less than that.
Let me ask you a question, because I've been seeing this all over Facebook, and we don't have to get deep into this, but I see like all this stuff about Joel Osteen not opening up his church.
Right.
You've been seeing that?
I did see that. I've also saw the other side of it.
Yeah. No, I saw that side too. So I'm like, I obviously saw the super left side saying that he's a monster and he refuses to open up his 16,000 person capacity or whatever
Stadium,
to people. Stadium, yeah. But then I also saw that he did or open it up the church or is willing to if they need it. I'm not sure. But then I also saw too that it wasn't safe or something. Like, I don't know, maybe it got flooded, but
right. I mean,
I don't want to get into a huge debate about it because whatever. Like,
honestly, I don't really know because I didn't really look into it. Like, I did see that the first posts that were coming out were like, he's a monster, he's an asshole, he should have opened up. He has this big facility, and then like knee-jerk reaction is like, I agree. I'm like, oh yeah, he's an asshole if he didn't open that up. Come on, dude, what the heck? And then I saw a rebuttal thing later on in the day saying like it was not safe, like you said. And then I saw other, like, he reacted and he actually did open it up eventually. I don't really know. You can't really trust half the stuff you read anyways on one side. But I just hope that nothing shady kind of went down. You know, I truly hope he's not as big of a dick as he was painted out to be. But
yeah, to be fair, I got all of my news on Facebook, so yeah.
No.
All right, we're going on record as saying that he is a monster. Okay.
I don't want to say that.
You heard it here.
I've been there before, and I never met him personally, but I've been there, and it's actually cooler than it looks on TV. I will say that. Like, that's me trying to be safe right now. I'm just trying to be safe. I'm trying to be in the middle. Can't you tell? Like, that's notorious for me. Like, I can't. It's hard for me to take sides when there's always two sides to a coin, and it's hard for me to just.
Unless it's Two Faces coin, and then it's the same side.
Technically, yes, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I've always been known as that kind of person. I try my best to look at both sides.
Yeah, you're the captain of no decisions.
That too, yeah. It's terrible. It can be. It's not always a good thing, for sure.
Hey guys, let's just try to see it from both sides. That's Bernie my whole life. Let's not fight.
That was a good impression of me too.
Yeah, pretty spot on. I've been working on it.
I could tell, man. See, I knew that's how I sounded. I sound like crap.
Yeah. All right. So, what have you been up to this late breaking news, other than surviving the hurricane?
Survived the hurricane over the weekend. Watched the fight, which was an insane time for us. And I will admit, I was a little heartbroken at first, but I just had so much invested into Connor. But I knew in my heart of hearts that he would probably lose. Like I knew, deep down, Connor's going to lose. Not bad or anything. It's just.
But you had a lot invested.
But I was pulling for him so hard.
So would you say like $100,000 or more?
No,
less?
Not money. I'm talking about heart here.
I invested money and lost.
Andy, I'm talking about heart and emotion. Did you lost money? How much did you lose?
I bet $50 because I figured that if he wins, it was like 300 to 1 odds. So I would get like $300. It was a little bit more than that, actually, closer to 400. But I mean, after watching the fight, it was clear that I think from the very beginning Mayweather was always going to win that fight. The first couple rounds, Conor looked good, but Mayweather threw like 4 punches in the first like 3 rounds. So it was really just Conor. It was really Mayweather letting Conor do whatever he was going to do and just learning his style.
Yeah.
And then like once the 4th and a half, 5th round rolled around, it was pretty much.
He was just starting to get tired already.
Yeah, man, he couldn't even keep his arms up.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was fun.
I agree.
My biggest gripe, if I had one about the whole thing, is I just hated how the ref called it. I just wanted to see him actually fall.
Listen, I don't want to get too controversial here, but it seemed like the whole time that ref was talking, he was looking at Conor.
Oh,
like
yeah.
At the beginning of the match, he was just like, if you do anything, it was like he was talking to a child.
He was scolding him almost.
It was like scolding a child. It's like it's like your son is here and then like this kid, this bully on the street just beat up your son, so you're like scolding this child that just beat your son up. I don't really understand, like, but Yeah, I would like to have seen him at least go down once or like take a knee or something. But I will say I don't necessarily know that it would have mattered. I think that
It
ultimately,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He would have probably most likely lost. But it would also have been awesome to see if he got up and then got a second wind. Maybe it would have been fun.
Yeah.
It would have been a great fight, a greater fight than
Yeah.
it already was. So that was my only gripe, I guess, if I had a gripe.
I had a bunch of friends that invited me, so thank you. But I ended up going over to a buddy of mine's house, and I would say, oh, you know what? I read this article. It's like 3 million people watched it illegally. Mm-hmm. Apparently, you could watch it on Periscope.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. I personally didn't pay for it, but the guy's house I went to, he paid for it.
I have a couple of friends that told me the next day, like, yeah, I watched it on YouTube, dude. I watched it on YouTube Live. I'm like, dang.
YouTube?
YouTube, yeah. Apparently, like, there's a bunch of people that kept, like, trying to just stream it live, and apparently it got shut down a couple times, but they kept finding it and kept watching the fight. So I was like, well, that's cool. I mean, everyone chipped in at my parents' house. There was like 10 people over there. And
so that's cheap, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's just going ham too. Like me and Colton and I, we were just like ripped off our shirts and we were just screaming at the TV the whole time. And everyone's just, half of us were intoxicated.
Yeah.
I won't say who.
We, a buddy of mine said he watched it on Periscope, and the title of the Periscope was Bible Study.
Dude, that's awesome.
People were just trying to like hide what it was, so they were labeling it.
That's the perfect thing to name it. Bible study. Who's going to check in on that?
Yeah. So, wait, why is there 20,000 people at this Bible study?
So you heard 3 million? I heard like 100 million today on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Listen, let's be very clear. All my facts come from Facebook.
Oh,
all
okay.
of them. Not a single goddamn fact is real. I think the best description of it is that it was entertaining and it was worth the money, and I'm glad it happened, but ultimately there was no question. I don't think that Mayweather wasn't going to win that fight.
Right. Just he has experience on his side.
Yeah, if you believe in like hoaxes and the fact that boxing is all rigged, then no one was going to let Mayweather lose his record. Like that wasn't. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily subscribe to that unless it's on Facebook, and then I will.
Okay, I'll look for an article for you. I'll send it. I'll forward it to you.
Yeah, I'll believe whatever
straight
you
from
send.
Facebook.
Yeah, that's true.
Boxing will wear you the hell out. That's all I know. One round would put you down. Like you'd be like, okay, I can't lift my arms either.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't have made it to the arena.
Yeah, walking down would wind you. You'd be like,
yeah.
Can I just fall down so I get in there? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. Other than that, over the weekend, heard the new Taylor Swift song.
Oh yeah. Let's get into that, Jim.
I'm trying to shift gears here.
Let me talk about this song.
Do you want to talk about it first, or do you want me to talk about it first?
All right, I know you're a huge Taylor Swift fan. Go ahead.
That's very true. She's my girl.
This is where we're going to disagree. First disagreement.
Tay-Tay.
It'll be flash on the screen.
It's Tay-Tay, man. She's an angel in my eyes. I've been a huge fan of her since like her second album, Fearless. Check it out if you haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Her songs are always just too dang catchy for me not to like. But I've always been a fan. I know she's done some stupid stuff, like the whole Kanye thing. That was kind of dumb.
Just blatant lies.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a blatant lie. I can admit that. And if we're admitting things, I will say her new song, I like it only because I'm a fan. That's the only reason why I like it. But I will say it's her weakest single she's ever put out. And it reminds me of I'm Too Sexy for My Shirt song. Literally. I saw the memes. I'm like,
it does. That's exactly what I was trying to think of. Yes.
I saw some memes and now I can't get it out of my head. I'm like, you just ruined the song for me.
Yeah.
Dang it. I'm too sexy for my shirt. too sexy for my look what you made me do, or however it goes.
Yeah.
I was just like, now the song's ruined. But I will hold true to being a fan. Like, if her whole album sounds like this, I will be disappointed. But
Yeah,
I'm reserving my judgment
won't.
right now. So go ahead. I'll bounce off of that.
No, I mean, I think Taylor Swift has some good catchy hits. I don't think all her songs are terrible, but like she made this big deal about going into hiding. Like she got off social media and she was trying to like do some self-reflection and she disappeared. I don't know anything about Taylor Swift, but I'm just going to assume that she went off the grid to make more music and like focus on herself, and this is what she came up with. Like she had all that time off, and I assume I know she has beef with Katy Perry, she has beef with Nicki Minaj, she has beef with Kanye and Kim.
Yeah.
And really the biggest beef is just because she blatantly lied about. Now listen, this is coming from a person that really likes Kanye West. So we could also have a very similar argument because most people are going to disagree with that. But I will say that I don't like necessarily all the decisions that he makes. Mm-hmm. I don't subscribe to his craziness, but I really like his music. Mm-hmm. And I think in this instance, very few instances where Kanye West gets a pass. Like in this instance, this is not a beef that he started. Like, you know, yeah. I think he started it in the beginning, right? Yeah. He interrupted her, blah, 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 whatever. And then I think he reconciled it.
Yeah.
And then this happened. So I feel like the ball's now in her court to reconcile. It's not on him.
Right.
But anyways, take all that out of it. I think she has some really good songs. 1989 was a good album. Like, she has some good songs. But you had all that time to like prepare for war.
Well, like you said, she could either reconciled or she better come out with a badass song.
Yeah, come out swinging.
Yeah,
with,
one of the two. She landed somewhere right in the middle, and it's terrible. I shouldn't make that sign. That looks weird in camera. I was like, ooh.
This is a hashtag.
Yeah.
I just found that out today. Anyways.
Oh yeah, hashtag Tay-Tay.
Hashtag terrible song.
But no.
Hashtag look what you made me do.
Yeah.
Should we play the song? I don't know. Don't.
I'm not going to. Yeah, I mean, like with Kanye's song, I didn't even like the song. It wasn't because of the
blaspheme.
Well, I didn't like it not because it was about Taylor. I could care less. It's just I thought it wasn't that good. Like, I didn't like that last album that much. I liked the first track. But none of that even matters. As long as you're making good music, I don't care what you're talking about. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I'm just sick of really.
It's like petty beefs.
Well, I'm just sick of that sound all these pop singers are going for now. Like
I know.
Like that new Katy Perry album is just this
garb.
Crappy dance pop synth funk flair shit. That's just
hot garb.
Like, I can't even listen to it. Like, this was the first album I didn't even listen all the way through. I stopped like after song 2. I'm like, I can't do this. Katy Perry, what did you do? I used to be a big fan of you. And just everyone's kind of going towards that thing, that sound. Even now, Taylor Swift, I'm like, what? Why? And
I thought I had. Oh, here it is. The Witness album. Yeah. The Swish Swish song.
You liked
actually,
it, didn't you?
No. I was gonna say I think it's about that one's about Taylor Swift. Swish Swish. Did you know that?
I didn't. Like I said, I don't care as long as the songs are good. You can talk about eating donkey crap, and I wouldn't care if the song was dope. I'd be like, oh, I don't care. I'll eat donkey crap with you, buddy. Bad analogy. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If you eat donkey crap, we apologize.
Yeah, I didn't mean to offend you. I didn't mean to offend you guys. What are you looking for?
Well, I was going to look for that song, but my guilty pleasure song right now. Actually, not really guilty pleasure. I embrace this. Have you listened to the new Killers album?
Oh, yeah, dude. Well, the album, it's not out yet, is it?
It's 3 songs. Yeah.
Yes. I have.
I guess we can say names. Chris Workman sent me. He's like, "This is my theme song," and he sent me "The Man." That song's so good.
Oh, dude, yes. At first, that song actually had to grow on me a little bit. I was like, "This doesn't sound like the Killers. What are they doing?" And then, like, the more I listened to it, I was like,
It's definitely poppy. It's a more poppy song than they usually do.
It's good pop, man. I'm like, this song actually, it rocks.
Have you listened to the Damian Marley album?
No.
A little reggae action. If you're into reggae, ooh, it's good. Yeah, it's really good. It came out like a month ago. Check that out. Anyways.
What I will say about the whole music stuff is I like the direction that pop singers like Miley Cyrus and Lady Gaga are going for. They're kind of moving away from that sound that I was talking about. And then they're going for this more stripped down, rootsy sound.
Yeah.
And they're kind of reinventing not only their sound, but their image too. I'm kind of like in that direction. I'm like, what? This is where y'all need to follow these guys. Come on, camera. All right. Sorry about that. But have you heard the last Lady Gaga album? Dude, it's really good. It's not like her other crap that I can't stand.
My brother just went and seen her live.
Nice. And the new Miley Cyrus stuff, you heard that? It's pretty good.
I'll give it a listen for the purposes of this podcast.
Like, I know what you're thinking, like, why you listening to that crap? But it actually is a step in the right direction. And I think that most pop singers need to start moving away from that crappy crap that Katy Perry's doing, because that's so 2009, and just go in this new direction of just strip your sound down. Just work with some good producers and stop falling into that pop singer trope that they all fall into. Trying to be controversial and have a little
record is saying that Taylor Swift's album or Katy Perry's album garbage.
Yes, it's trash. The new Taylor Swift song, it's okay. That's all I'll say about it. It's okay.
I just thought it was weakly. It's an okay beat, actually. Like, when it first came on, I was like, okay, all right. And then she busted into "I'm too sexy for my shirt," and I was like, oh dear.
Yeah.
And now that you said that, I can't unhear it.
I know. I feel like we're gonna ruin the song for a couple of people that didn't realize. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah,
I swear to God, there's a freaking meme that it's perfect. They lined it up perfectly, and just like, oh my God. No!
I'm posting it on my Facebook.
Do it.
Let's see what else. Game of Thrones. I know you didn't watch, but
the finale.
Blown. Yeah.
Really. I've been avoiding spoilers pretty well. So
all right.
Please God, don't spoil anything.
Get prepared.
Just tell me how awesome it is.
Yeah, it actually got they said it's like the weakest finale, but I think it's
Why?
because I think they said that because there's not like a huge battle. But
is the story any good?
Yeah, it's amazing. I thought the finale was amazing. It tied up so many loose ends. It explained so many character arcs. It got rid of a couple people that were just kind of unnecessary. Mm-hmm. It like shows you what next season's going to be all about, essentially. Winter is here.
I like that.
But I can't wait. I am a little disappointed because I heard that the new season's maybe not going to come until 2019.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So you'll have plenty of time to rewatch all the seasons.
2019.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It'll either come out November of 18 or it won't come out again until early 2019 because I assume my one buddy Jason was like, they're probably just trying to crowdfund as much money as they can because it's expensive to do all the CGI for that show.
Yeah.
And you can tell over the years the dragons have like looked better and better.
Yeah.
So I assume they're either trying to fine tune the script or fine tune the story, and then
Time is money, dude.
Yeah. But in that time, Westworld will come out.
See, I haven't even started or finished it. I watched like a couple episodes, but what I did start was Ozark, and dude,
Have you watched any more?
I'm on episode 3, and
It's so good.
I freaking love it so far. It just reminds me of a David Fincher movie. Like it has these muted. He directed Fight Club, Gone
Yeah.
Girl, and all those.
Yep. Yeah, you're right. It's like the muted colors.
Colors, and the color palette's really like green, and
Yeah.
and not only that, the shots are really just steady and nice. And I'm just like, am I watching a David Fincher movie? Because it's what it feels like, and I love it. I'm just like, not only that, everything about it's good. The dialogue, the story, it has me hooked. Like I can't like stop watching. I'm just like glued to my screen watching it the whole time.
So where you're at, they're already in the Ozarks.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I don't know if it was like the first or second episode where that lady's, the guy she was having an affair with fell out of the window.
Oh yeah, dude!
Thrown out of the window. And
Jason Bateman's like, you gotta say spoiler alert before you say something like that. But yes.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But yes, that part it actually kind of scared me. I didn't see it coming. I was like, I jumped a little bit. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, there's a couple more moments like that where you're like, the very last episode, like the last minute, there's a what the fuck just happened moment. Yes. Dude. So I need you to catch up to that. But I'm going to watch it again. It's so good. Jason Bateman he's one of the few actors that I think can like go in and out of comedy so flawlessly.
I was about to say that, yeah.
Like, he is so good. He's funny in Horrible Bosses, and then he is excellent in this drama role that he's in. And yeah, if you're not watching Ozarks, it's so funny because at the place where I work, this guy came in and he's like, tell me about these devices that let me stream Netflix. And I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. I started talking. I said, Stranger Things is great. He's like, have you watched? I was like, I heard Ozarks is good. He's like, you've not watched Ozarks? It is the greatest thing in the world. I was like, and normally I don't take the advice of strangers, but unless it's Facebook, and then I subscribe to all those things. But anyway, so I went home and I watched I think it's like 10 or 11 episodes in 2 days. It was my 2 days off. I watched the whole thing. It was so good.
Yes. Yeah. My question is, like, how is Jason Bateman not being in more dramas or, like, more serious roles? Like, he's so good at it.
Yeah. I don't know.
He has that tone he has that demeanor about him where he can be a serious actor.
Yeah.
And he should have been like in these Academy Award winning movies this whole time. He's just been chilling, I guess, or he's just waiting for the right moment to shine. I'm just like, so dude, this guy needs to be in more like hard hitting movies. I love his comedies too. Don't get me wrong, I do.
They're so good.
But dang, he's a good dramatic actor. And
Horrible Bosses, Arrested Development, like he's really good.
He's already a legend in his own time.
It does make me want to be a money launderer though, so we'll start looking at that research.
See, I guess I'm not at that part in the show yet where he's actually doing that. He's still kind of like dealing with all this other stuff. He's thought about killing himself and all this stuff. Oh, spoiler alert! Sorry.
Spoiler alert!
Sorry. We should probably stop talking about the details of this show. I'm sorry.
No, he pretty much wants to kill himself throughout the entire season. So
right. But dude, yeah, that show's been blowing me away. I finished Better Call Saul, and I went right to this. And I've been trying to finish Game of Thrones all at the same time. So
yeah,
3 great shows in my opinion. You should check.
You like Drew Barrymore, right? I feel like you're a Drew Barrymore fan.
Sure. I don't think.
All right.
Why?
We're gonna assume you're a super fan for the this thing here.
Okay.
There's a show on Netflix called The Santa Clarita Diet.
Okay.
And the premise is she wakes up one day and starts craving meat, and then like that transitions to she starts craving like human meat. So like she just wakes up one day. It's Drew Barrymore, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but you'll recognize him as soon as you see him. But it's fantastic. That's another show that it's
All
funny
right.
because
Yeah.
it's kind of like a comedy because her and her husband are real estate agents, and yeah, she wakes up one day and like it starts off with her eating like raw hamburger, and then that's not enough for her, so she gets into some pretty interesting situations and
Sounds interesting. So
yeah, it's funny though. I definitely recommend it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll watch it.
Those are my picks: Game of Thrones, Ozarks, Santa Clarita Diet.
All right. Have you watched Better Call Saul?
I started it, but
You weren't
it
sold.
wasn't some. Well, here's the thing. Let me give you. Our mutual friend Chris is probably laughing right now because he'll recommend a show and I'll start watching it, and then I don't know, like if it's already too far, Breaking Bad, for instance. It's a fantastic show. It's great. I recognize that it's brilliant. I'll never watch it.
Really?
I just don't. That's a huge investment. There's a lot of seasons of that, and I'm so far behind. And it's if I start watching it now, you've already seen it, and then people are just going to be like, "Yeah, that's old." I'm like, "All right, well,
I
I'll start watching a
will
different show."
recommend you to try to shift that mentality for that show. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I mean, I know Better Call Saul I watched the first
Hey.
4 or 5 episodes.
Forget Better Call Saul. You need to watch Breaking Bad first if you know, if you haven't. I mean that.
No, I do like the show.
Oh, I thought you said you didn't want to really finish it.
I don't want to send any hate mail to me. I like the show. What I'm saying is I can't. That's a long-term investment.
Guys,
And
don't
I
roast
don't
them
know
too
if-
hard.
I know, Jesus.
It's over. It's already out there.
All right.
You're gonna get some.
I'm gonna-
You're gonna get some mail in your Facebook inbox. Like, what's wrong with you, Nate?
Yeah, sending me all the statistics.
Like, are you serious, dude? I mean, what's wrong with you? You're obviously not saved. That's what it is.
Oh man,
You don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ.
I've forgotten the face of my father.
Yeah, that's what it is. No, man. No, I understand. I get it. I
No,
don't get
lie to me. Don't
I'm
lie
just
to me.
I don't get it, but like I said, I've met enough people to where that's what happens sometimes.
All right.
With
I'm
Breaking Bad.
parent. I'm gonna watch them all.
Don't do it.
I can't handle the pressure.
No one's forcing you. No one's forcing you, man.
I feel like I am being forced.
Hold on a second. We have a little delay in the video.
Oh,
Yeah, we're back. We're back. We're looking good. But this will be a good time to take a small break. I'm gonna re-up on my Heaven Hill real quick, and then we
dragon
can
piss.
we can talk about something else. I'll be right back. Sponsored by Heaven Hill, baby.
Baby.
All right. So, man, what's on your mind? I know I've had a couple topics in mind. Let's talk about
We'll
something.
talk about.
Let's talk about something, bro.
Let's talk about. I think people are just dying to hear about it. Our musical beginnings.
Oh.
Also, we got to get Josh on here. Got to get Chris on here. Got to get Bobby at some point. This is a call to arms. We need to get
Yes.
Caleb on here.
Yes.
Gotta
I-
get Colton on here sometime. Got lots of stories.
I agree 100%. Our old faithful bandmates from our teenage years For those who don't know, Nate and I grew up together, and we were in a band together for many years called Cataracts Fall, which I'm also working on a documentary about. If you haven't seen the little preview I put together, it's on Facebook. If you go to my Facebook, and you can watch the little preview I'm putting on a documentary Getter. I've been watching too much McGregor videos.
Yeah.
A video I put together. But I still need to get...
We got a couple new songs, too, as well.
Oh, yeah. We also, Nate and I recorded some new music for the documentary, and there's also a new song out on YouTube as well. You can find it all on my Facebook. It's all there. But all those guys, it'd be awesome just to get on here and just them to tell stories and us to share stories about the old days. I think that'd be amazing. Just like you said, I want to get Josh Ivy on here. First, I think that'd be a good start. To kick things off. Josh,
I will formally say that I miss you guys. Love to talk to you. It's been way too long. We can't let these years go by because you don't get them back. So,
right.
That's me.
Just to tack onto that as well, kind of everybody in the band, we were literally brothers. And over the past, I want to say decade maybe, everyone's kind of went their separate ways, and no one's really talked to each other, except for I've tried to be the guy in the middle of everything, like we said earlier. I'm always in the middle of stuff, but I try to keep in touch with everybody in the band, and that's been one dream of mine, is to kind of get everybody back together, at least back on talking terms. At least, so that's a journey I really wanted to take on the documentary and in real time with this podcast as well. So those are just small goals that I want to accomplish, and we want to accomplish, I think. But yeah, we want to talk about the old days and old band stories that we have. And for people who don't know about our band, I don't want to say that we were a big deal because it just sounds stupid. But in our little small town, we definitely had an impact on the scene there with all the kids, and that's not being cocky at all. It's just it was a small town, and we were like one of the, I guess we're just an entertainment entity that all the kids wanted to.
Probably the first one that
there you go,
did our style of music, because we played with a lot of bands that were punk and indie rock, but no one, and we weren't always that way either.
Yeah,
but
I think what happened was, we were always in a band, from preteens and on. We were always playing together. We played in church, and we always wanted to be a band. I think what happened was we started getting into heavier and heavier music, and that happened because of, for me personally, my cousin Derek Elliott. He was a guy that I looked up to when I was 12 and 13. He was a couple years older than me, and I just remember him always on vacation and stuff. He'd always come over and be like, "Hey, I got this band you need to check out." I'm like, "Sweet, yeah." And he would always show me these heavy bands, and every year it just got heavier and heavier and heavier. I'm like, what is he showing me? Then just one year he was just showing me this crazy fast. There was no singing whatsoever. It was just all screaming. I'm like, what is this? I didn't know what to think about it, but I didn't want to not look cool in front of my older cousin, Derek. So I was like, dude, that's cool, bro.
Was it the Locust?
No, it wasn't the Locust.
Or Converge?
I know exactly what album it was, because I remember I brought him the Travail CD. I don't know if you remember Travail.
Yes.
I thought that was the heaviest thing ever. I thought it was like
They were awesome.
You probably can't even find their stuff anywhere anymore.
You can't. I'm gonna look actually while you're talking.
But anyways, Nate, like our band loved that band, but I took it to Derek. Derek's like, he was not impressed, to say the least. He's like, this just sounds like Korn, and I'm like, but it's cool, dude. And he's like, no, check this out, and he puts in the CD called Solid State Volume 2. I remember the exact CD that it was, and it had bands like Zayo, Norma Jean, it even had like an old Ludacris song in there maybe. It had all these bands that I was just like Under Oath before, you know, they were popular. And it blew me away. I was like, what is this amazing stuff that I'm hearing right now? Did you find
what was the
anything?
band? No. Travail has a song that they released in 2014, but it doesn't have any of their older albums. It's them though.
No, the bands. It was that compilation album.
Just the whole, yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember that being a life-changing shift for me. And then let's move forward a couple years. I meet a guy named Nick Hoffman.
Ooh, just an OG.
Exactly.
We're gonna tag him on this because that guy.
Yes.
Between Derek and Nick.
Yes.
They're the reasons we started doing what we did.
So I already thought Derek was cool, and then he introduces me to a guy named Nick Hoffman, who is the coolest dude ever. Essentially, I'm just like, this guy's really cool, and like he was into even heavier music, introducing us to bands like Dillinger Escape Plan and Converge. And if you've never heard of those bands, they're the heaviest things you'll ever listen to.
So good.
So like, I just thought they were cool, and I wanted to be like them. Not only because they were cool, but like they're listening to stuff that no one else was listening to, and it's kind of like this new fringe underground thing that wasn't like, and I wanted to be a part of it personally, and I was like, screw your poppy crap, you know. I jumped right into that boat, you know. Like anything that was like anything mainstream, I was like, I just
hated it.
Yeah, I dismissed it. I was like, because that was the cool thing to do. Yeah. And then like that eventually just bled into our band, and we're like, we want to be like that, we want to do that. And then the last thing I'll bring up, because I brought those two moments that changed my life, the third thing that changed my life is when I watched a video of Norma Jean, like a live video. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was just like,
Hellfest.
It was something. I can't remember exactly what video, but it was a Norma Jean live video.
Hellfest.
And is this band that were just...
Which singer?
Both. I guess we were watching a bunch of videos of Norma Jean.
Oh, okay.
It's just that whole moment. Like, he's like, here's a video, here's a video, here's a video. And Josh Scoggin and that Brad guy, I guess, back and forth. But this band was the most insane band we ever seen live. Like, they were throwing the guitars around, the singers were doing handstands and stuff. From that moment on, I was like, I want to do that. That's it. I want to be that. I want to do that, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so that's kind of what shaped me as like my music tastes. Those moments right there.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Any similar moments, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I met Derek whenever he would come to town, and he was always that hardcore kid. 4 Feet of Fury. Mm-hmm. Derek's my favorite person to go to concerts with because he was and probably is, I haven't seen him in a long time, was a wild man. Mm-hmm. And actually, it's a side story, but one of my favorite stories of Derek is we were watching Throwdown. It was Under Oath was touring with Throwdown, and Throwdown was playing, and people were they were like running across people's heads. Like they weren't crowd surfing, they were literally just
stomping.
They were treating humans like a sidewalk. And this same guy had done it to Derek a couple times. And it was either like the third time or maybe the second time Derek grabbed him by the leg as he's coming and like just punches him as hard as he can.
Yeah.
And
I remember that.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always enjoyed hanging out with Derek because he was always so much fun. But yeah, I remember that moment because before then we were basically playing Jesus Syndrome. Like, this is all people wanted to hear, so that's all we were playing.
Right.
And then I remember we were in Jeffersonville. I don't remember what for. I guess probably a youth convention. We were sitting in Nick Kaufman's car.
Yeah.
And I think maybe you knew him at this point, and like you were like, you got to hear this guy scream. And so like Nick Kaufman he's playing like Zayo and Dillinger Escape Plan and Converge, or we'll listen to all these albums, and like it'd be like if you I don't really know how to explain it. It's like I had never heard anything like that before.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I was all right, I lie. I had heard things like that before, but I wasn't confident in my voice enough to be able to do that.
Right.
So you're like, you gotta hear Nick. And like, Nick, great guy, relatively soft-spoken, super cool. Like, even to this day, whenever I see him, I'm like, it's like that, you know, you kind of idolize this person. He's going to watch this and be like, what in the world are these guys talking about? But, like, you idolize this person for so long that it just carries through for the rest of your life. But anyways,
Right.
So this guy that I had just met for the first time lets this growl out of his mouth that would have killed a baby. And I am like, what is happening right now? I was blown away.
I remember.
I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what's happening. So from like,
It came out of nowhere too.
Super soft-spoken, super cool guy, and it was just like this deep growl, and I'm like, yes.
It was just
yes.
funny because we were just sitting there kind of head bobbing, and all of a sudden he's like, I think he asked us, he's like, do y'all guys practice your screams? And we're like, what? And we're like looking at each other, like, what do you mean? And he's like, you know, and he just grabs the steering wheel with both of his hands, and he's just like, Roar! And it's just like, made the hair on my neck stand up. I'm like, what?
I know.
It's just like, what is happening?
He probably won't even remember that moment, but for me, it was a moment that like changed my life. You know, it was.
I remember the car. It was like a BMW. So.
Yes, 100%. I was sitting in the back seat in the middle. You were in the front passenger seat, and he was in the driver's seat. Obviously, like and we were probably listening to like Dillinger Escape Plan or Zayo.
Yeah.
It was probably one of those two bands.
It was,
but
yeah, and yeah, you're right. He's gonna listen to this like, what the heck are they talking about? He's but that really did impact us. I think it like shaped us for like the next 10 years maybe. And it affects me this day. Like, I still love heavy music. I was gonna tell a story about you as well.
Okay.
This guy, my man Nate here, his appendix burst. Remember? We were in church, right? And I just remember you were just like curled up. Like, you weren't moving, you weren't doing anything. I just remember being on stage, like, I think I was playing piano or something. And you looked out of it, and I think I assumed, I was like, he's probably just had a bad day or something. He probably just fought with his brothers or something. You looked like you weren't in a good mood. And then, like, later on in the church service, like, people got around you and prayed for you or something. They're just praying. I think that's what happened. And then later on, your mom comes and gets you and y'all leave. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what happened, blah, blah, blah. And then later on after church, I come to find out Nate's appendix burst. And I remember you complaining about your side. I just thought you pulled a muscle or something. I never heard of an appendix bursting before then. Yeah, I think what happened is it burst and you just kept going on through your day. Like, you didn't go to the hospital or anything for how long?
Yeah. So let me give you the story here.
Give me the story about that.
Parents if your kids complain about stomach pain, take it more seriously. Now, let me preface all this by saying I love my mother. She raised 5 kids, most of the time by herself. So, all that being said, we complained about a lot of things. Somebody in the family was always getting hurt, and it was usually me. And I'll give you another embarrassing fact. I would complain a lot about my stomach being hurt, and then I would get to the hospital, and they were like, "He just has gas." So it was like the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
So then when my stomach actually hurt, my mom was like, "Well, do you just need to use the bathroom?" No, I don't think so. It really hurts. So, yeah, I waited, and then, like, I remember this. This is another thing that, like, again, people probably, like, that were involved won't remember as much, but I remember it because I went to the hospital. I laid in the waiting room they made me wait for what seemed like an eternity.
Yeah. And
then they get me back finally, and the doctor's like, "If you would have waited any longer, you'd be dead. Your appendix is burst." I'm like, "Well, let's make something very clear here. I didn't wait. I'm sitting in your waiting room."
I remember hearing that too. I was like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah,
they could have died.
So the appendix is burst. So if you know anything about like appendicitis, you know, your appendix can go bad and they can remove it, but if it bursts, it infects basically all of the organs.
Bad news.
Bad news bears. So they removed it, and they removed as much of the infection or all the infection. And then I remember being in the hospital for like a week or a week and a half or something. And at the time, my girlfriend at the time, her grandpa had passed away. It's actually Chris, our bass player's grandpa, had passed away. And I remember like wanting to go to that. Let me back up. Chris is not my girlfriend. His sister was my girlfriend at the time. It sounded weird, but I remember I was like, and obviously, like, he was a member of the church, and you know, it was important that I be there. But so I wanted to be there, and the doctor finally like let me out. So we went to that, and then like a day or two later, I started getting stomach pains again, and I went back to the hospital. And they were like, "Oh yeah, we didn't remove all the infection. We need to do another surgery." So I always joke that I had my appendix removed twice.
Yeah, I remember that now. Holy crap.
But I was out of school for like almost a month. I remember like coming back, I had lost like 50 pounds, and I was walking with a cane. And
well, the story I was going to bring up is it was like a couple weeks after that, you went to a Norma Jean show.
Oh yeah, you got to. With
Derek and I. Yeah. And that's the story I was going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, this guy's appendix just burst. He's limping around with a cane. And he goes to a hardcore show.
Yeah. But you guys were protecting me. I remember you guys, you know, making sure I didn't get hit.
That's still insane. He's in the front row. Front row. And you're getting rocked back and forth. You're in straight pain because your side's like all jacked up. And then I remember on a song called Memphis Maybe Laid to Waste, you grab the microphone and you start doing the apart from that song. It's at the end of that song. He starts like screaming into the mic, and that's the story I wanted to tell. Like Nate's such a badass. His appendix just burst. He's at a hardcore show, and he's also yelling into a microphone in the front row of a Norma Jean show, and I just remembered that while we were talking about getting into heavy music, and I was just like, I got to tell this story. I thought that was pretty rock and roll of you.
Yeah, Norma Jean waits for no man.
And speaking of Norma Jean, they're actually a great band still to this day.
Yeah, Brandon's great.
I went through a phase where I didn't like them that much anymore, and now they're kind of back on top for me. They're one of my favorite hardcore bands again.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I would say that Memphis Will Be Laid to Waste, that song is definitely a defining song of our youth.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Norma Jean is I think that's the first, like that's the one I liked first probably. the first
Same.
hardcore band.
Same.
And I think at the time too, we were really trying to just listen to Christian bands. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't really listen to like Dillinger Escape Plan or Converge. Zao was kind of interesting at the time just because they were going through so many transitions. But then like Symphony in Peril.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And then when Josh left Norma Jean, which happened before I think we even started listening to him, but
yeah,
we started listening to The Chariot, and that I think that for us, because like they started when we were starting type of thing, so
yeah,
it, you know, we kind of came up with them, or rather they like were just exploding, and they had, you know, Josh and Taco and I can't remember all the people in that band anymore, but
well, that's what
it's
was.
crazy to see how many of the, like, all those people that are in those bands, like they just kind of all switched around. Like the drummer of Norma Jean is now the drummer for Every Time I Die, and you know, Aaron, though he's back, he's in under Oath again, but he played for like Paramore, and he did his solo stuff, and
Right.
Josh Scoggins is in Year 68. Like it's crazy to see how people, they just kind of stay in it. Every Time I Die, though, man, just staying strong.
Staying strong, dude. They got all the original members except for the drummer. It's amazing. I agree. Memphis Shall Be Laid to Waste, or Will Be Laid to Waste, was the first song that I was like, okay, I like hardcore music. This song changed my life, and we all of us would listen to it in the car multiple times, practicing our screams with it. And then you're right, like when we wanted to change to that type of music, we were on the Chariot stuff. They started around when we were switching, and I also met Josh Scoggin and I hung out with them a couple times.
Brag.
Not to brag or anything, we were kind of cool. I mean, Caleb, our drummer of our band, dated Josh Scoggins' sister, so not to brag or anything. I mean, you know, but no, honestly, that was like obviously a really cool thing for me because he was always a childhood hero. But yeah, man, it makes you, when we talk about this stuff, it makes me miss those old days because we had a good scene going there for a while, you know. A lot of kids were coming out to shows, and a lot of kids came to see us act a fool, act crazy, and I think we made a couple wrong moves at the end, and it was our demise. But I do reminisce on those days fondly. I think about them a lot, and I think it'll be nice to talk to the guys about it. And
yeah, I think that's what we need to try to do, is like maybe the first guest we have be somebody from the band.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But we'll see. I mean, we got a week to work it out. It doesn't have to be now. Obviously, we can do a few of these and get really polished on it. I still never figured out how to add a person to the.
Yeah, we still got to figure out how to add someone to our Skype conversation.
If anybody's a Skype guru, reach out to us because we want to add people.
Yeah. I was going to bring up some other stuff I was reading about this week, but I'll save it for next week because we've already been on here for about a good hour, over an hour, I think.
I will say, for those of you who did watch and who will watch, like, thank you. Obviously, this is something that, you know, this, to me, I'd like to have somebody from our life on as frequently as possible, and new people. We want to meet new people. I want Bernie to meet my friends, and I want to meet his friends, and we want to kind of get old friends together and just talk about our lives, right? Because I think everybody's life is an interesting story, or it can be, but we only hear about athletes and actors and movie stars and things like that. Like, I think everybody has a story to tell, so it'll be interesting to, as we start doing this, like, if there's things you want to hear about or things you want to ask us, or let us know.
Absolutely.
We'll go down that road.
I have nothing.
But yeah, thank you.
Believe that the most have gone. I believe that the most have gone. If we choose to see, if we choose to see.
Hello. I wanted to touch base with everyone. I wanted to see something I've been thinking about a lot lately is like friendships. So I would consider myself having a lot of friends. I would consider myself being very fortunate in the fact that I have a lot of people that support me and want me to succeed, and vice versa. Like, I have a lot of people that I love and want to see succeed. And, my question is that do you have to be a friend? Do you have to talk to that person every day? Can you consider yourself a friend even if you don't see or talk to that person for a long period of time? Like, what is friendship? What's the time period? My personal thought is that once you are a friend with someone, assuming nothing happens to ruin that friendship or I guess destroy the friendship, then you're going to be that person's friend for a long time. And to me, that's true friendship, is that I can go weeks, months, years without speaking to somebody, but I can still can consider them a friend. Is that true for you guys? Am I crazy in thinking that? I had an instance recently and a few times before this where I've had people question my loyalty or my friendship, and it's confusing to me because maybe I am friending wrong. Maybe I'm not doing it the right way, but my life is very busy. I work 10 hours plus a day. I have a 5-year-old who just started kindergarten, and so that takes up a good amount of my time. And like, I consider Bernie one of my best friends, and even him I talk to now more frequently, but before this we would maybe go 6 months without talking to each other, but he's still my best friend. He's still, I always know that he has my back. So that's kind of my thought for today is, am I doing it wrong? What do you guys think? Is it possible to be lifelong friends with somebody even though you may not talk to them for years? So I don't know, just some thoughts. Hopefully you guys can help me out. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Cool. I'll see you guys later.